Hi, I'm Rusty Schweickart. I flew as an astronaut on Apollo 9. I was the lunar module pilot and got to check out the lunar module before it went out to the moon. We flew 10 days in Earth orbit back in 1969, long, long time ago. Talk about a long time ago. Happy birthday to Chabot, 137 years old. That's even older than I am. And something like 20 up on Skyline. Wonderful, wonderful place. You know, it really emphasizes the importance of science and technology. Uh, as an astronaut, I've always been interested in the stars and space and science and technology in general. And, it's so important to realize that the world operates on a set of laws, what we call natural law, and understanding all of the mysteries that we see out in space when we look at the stars and galaxies and things of that kind. And yet, by making measurements, we can understand how they work. It is so exciting when you first get into science and technology and you begin to learn these basic principles. And Chabot helps kids do that. I mean, not just sort of academically, but by having displays and interactive things that you can mess with. And it's a great institution that is doing incredibly important work, especially today when there's so much challenge to science and technology. I mean, this is understanding the way our world works, and it's a really exciting thing to do, kids, and I really encourage you to take advantage of Chabot and all it's got to offer. Thanks very much for being up there, Chabot. Hey, Francis, that's a great question. I'd been in space for 10 days before that time in weightlessness. And when you're in weightlessness, it's just amazing how your body adapts to just floating free. So one of the biggest feelings I had coming back into the atmosphere as you begin to slow down as your spaceship hits the atmosphere, you begin to feel the weight of Earth again. You begin to feel drag, and it feels incredibly heavy on your body. And in fact, I looked over at the commander and I said, "How many G's are we pulling now, Jim?" And McDivitt looked at the G meter and he said, "zero point 0.1." And I was shocked. Only a tenth of a G, and I've got to get up to about 4 or 5 G's before we hit the ocean. Wow, it was really heavy. Hi, Jess. Well, the most fun thing about working for NASA was that every day was a new day. Maybe you did things 2 or 3 or 4 times, but it was always something different, something new. And it was really fun. And especially knowing, in the end, after all the work, you were going to fly into space and be able to look at this beautiful, beautiful Earth that we live on. That was really, really fun working for NASA. Hi, Isan. Well, let me tell you, the two things that you remember when you're flying as an astronaut in orbit are the experience of weightlessness, which is really, really fun. And the other thing that you remember all the rest of your life is how incredibly beautiful the Earth is when you look out the window and you see this beautiful blue earth and a black, black, black universe above it. And between the two is this really, really thin, bright blue line at the very edge of the earth that we call the atmosphere. And you begin to realize how precious that atmosphere is. It enables all of the life that we know of on Earth, that little thin skin of atmosphere. And so you really realize how fragile the earth is in a sense, and it's up to us to protect it. And that was really one of the most profound memories I have. Avi, you have no idea what a fun question that is. And I wish I knew the answer. My answer is I wish I knew the answer. I was only up for 10 days, and I'm not really sure, even after the ninth or 10th day, that I really got a good night's sleep. It's a little bit like a camping trip. If you've been on a camping trip, you know you don't sleep very well the first couple of nights, in a sleeping bag on the hard ground. Well, in space, you're floating free. I was in a sleeping bag, but it was just to keep me from floating around too much. But getting a good night's sleep, I think you have to fly the way people do today, maybe for, many weeks at a time, even many months at a time. And then you learn how to sleep. You adapt to almost anything. The body is an amazing invention. It will adapt to almost any environmental change, including weightlessness. Hi, Olivia. Asteroid Day. It's a really, really important day annually. We celebrated on the same day, 100 and some years ago now, that the Earth was hit by a pretty sizable asteroid that really wiped out a whole bunch of forest. I mean, something like 2,000 square kilometers, 800 square miles of forest in Siberia. And we celebrate that day because it's so important that the general public, that you kids and everybody else, your parents, everybody understand that an asteroid, if it hits the Earth and it's a big enough one, can really create a lot of havoc. And yet we can deflect these asteroids by predicting ahead of time that one is headed for Earth. And that way we can deflect it away so it doesn't have to hit the Earth. That one day will happen, and it's going to be very important that you and your parents and everybody else in the public understand what it is that's happening so that you can support all of the people who are going to be involved in making that deflection happen so that the asteroid doesn't hit the Earth when that day comes. And that's why it's important that you learn about asteroids. Plus, they're a lot of fun. They have lots of minerals, and we're going to be visiting them in the future as well. So they're not only dangerous once in a while when they're headed for Earth, but they're really great objects to explore in space. Well, that was a lot of fun, kids. I really enjoyed your questions and giving my personal answers to them. Curiosity is such an important thing, and you will understand as you get older. Even you understand it now, but you'll understand it even more as you get older and you realize that here we are in this crazy COVID-19 pandemic, and you yourself have been able to see and listening to the news and other things that the scientists really, it's important to really understand the science, what's really true about this disease, that's affecting all of us, all of our lives. Such an important thing. It's a great example of why your curiosity about biology or space or whatever is really important. We all, as parents, respect your curiosity, and it's important for you to pursue all of the things you're curious about as you go to school, as you go to college, as you get older. Thanks so much for letting me be with you on this great night. Happy birthday again to Chabot and everybody who's connected and supporting it.